Let's talk about the communication audit assignment. Now, normally, a communication audit is part of the bigger organizational audit. But for this course, we want to separate the two because we feel that the communication audit is a large part of the PR campaign and is really a large part of what you'll need to know to construct your PR campaign. So what is a communication audit? Well, basically a communication audit is looking at how an organization communicates. How an organization communicates both internally and externally, and how that communication affects the organization in a variety of ways. So as we look at the organization, we want to look at their external communications, things such as board reports, press releases, commercials, advertising, spokespeople that give presentations or news conferences, all of the communication that goes external outside of the company, we want to take a look at. We also want to take a look at the internal communication of a company. And that's one thing sometimes that gets neglected, and we forget to examine this when we start to develop a PR campaign. But you need to look at how people interact and how they communicate within the organization, inside the walls of the organization, so to speak. Are people very open in their communication, or is communication internally closed, or is it kind of a tight organization in the sense of a very rigid organization, or is it the type of internal communication where everyone is talking with each other, everyone is sharing, no one's afraid to speak up, all that kind of sort of thing. So you need to look at both the internal and the external aspects. You need to look at the audiences of the organization. That's part of the communication audit because audience is extremely important in developing a PR campaign. You have to look at what audiences the organization communicates with, who those audiences are, why those audiences exist, how those audiences interact with the organization. You need to look at the messages that the organization is sending. Is the organization sending messages that are appropriate for the organizational DNA or that organizational culture? In the organizational audit, what you'll be doing is looking at the culture of the organization. Well, in the communication audit, you want to look at the communication and see, does that communication jive with the type of organization that it is? Or is it mismatched? Sometimes an organization can get to a point where they have an image they want to portray, but yet the messages they send out, the communication that they send out, portrays the exact opposite of that image that they wish to portray. Another aspect of the communication audit is the channel. What channels are being used to communicate? Are all the communications going out via press release? Are they all going out through a spokesperson? Or are they all going out as tweets on Twitter or as postings on a Facebook page or a blog? So basically a communication audit is looking at all of the communication that occurs both inside of the organization and outside of the organization.